I'd like to call to order the Landmarks Commission meeting for August 26th, 2024. Time is 6:59 p.m. Roll call, please.
Linda Bobie.
Here.
Whit Wardell.
Here.
Dr. Scott Kelly.
Here.
Roger White.
Here.
Rich Dobda here. David Craycraft.
Here.
Pete Lynch.
Here. I get an approval of minutes for the July 22nd, 2024 Landmarks meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes of July 22nd.
I'll second.
Roll call, Pete Lynch.
Yes.
David Craycraft.
Yes.
Rich Dobda, yes. Roger White.
Yes.
Dr. Scott Kelly.
Yes.
Whit Wardell.
Abstain.
Linda Bobie.
Yes.
Tabled applications.
First on the agenda is CA 24038, address is 92 East Waterloo Street. This application was tabled during last month's meeting, so the applicant could come back with more information on how they planned on doing the work on the area block underneath of the front porch. Up on the screen, photograph the subject property. Again, the applicant is looking to replace the lead walk from the sidewalk all the way to the front porch. Remove the brick columns on either side of the front entry stairs to widen the stairs out to the column width, as well as replace some of the damaged and dilapidated block underneath the porch. Based off of this most recent quote that was put in your packet, the contractor is proposing to jack up that front porch and replace all of the block underneath of it. As well as the rest of the work that was described last month. Applicant is here to answer any questions you guys have.
Hello.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good.
So, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
The only difference really is we're still doing all the same work, except we're going to replace all the block.
That's correct.
On the porch and wrapping around both sides?
Yes.
Okay. And you have a little bit of additional work throughout that you're going to patch a few pieces in?
It's like in the northwest corner. I've got some block damage there, and he's going to try and, he'll repair it and look at getting it as close to what I have on there. Problem with the block is they don't make that block anymore, as I'm sure you're aware. So,
What would you say the color of the existing is there?
I'm
Did they
terrible.
bring you any samples of?
No,
No?
it's not. We just mentioned as close as possible. I tried to get other contractors to give me a quote, and I might as well work upstream. Doesn't seem to be happening.
So are you having the edge of the slab also repaired?
It's going to be totally taken out
Okay,
in the quote and all that.
okay.
That whole front porch, the pad, we bought the house 40 years ago, and the pad was cracking then, and it's gotten to a point now that, as you can see, it's deteriorating, so something needs to be done, hopefully within the next
So you
year.
were saying the post set on a
That's
2x
on
block?
a separate block about this size, is what the posts are on, and those are in good shape. They're not deteriorating.
Okay.
On the, as you face the house, on the right-hand side, it is sunk a little bit, and I've addressed that with him, and it's maybe an inch, inch and a half, something like that, and he's going to jack that up as well.
And then or is the railing going to stay where it's at?
I'm going to have to take the railing down, but then I'll put it back up.
Okay. I mean, just as is, like for like, just whatever you take down, you're going to put back up?
That's the idea right now. My wife thought about a different type of rail. Andrew and I have talked about that a little bit. But unless you are enthusiastic about that, I'll stay like for like, and that's a lot of work. But I can butcher wood pretty well, so I'll handle that part. And
When do you think the work will start?
have no idea at this point. I don't know how the contractor's doing, and I've got to make sure I've got the money for it and all.
I think that was the biggest holdup last month, if I remember, was the block.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And that's what I've tried to address here. we want to take good care of the house. It's not easy.
It's going to look very nice when it's done.
I think so too. So, and the house has served us well. We want to keep it that way.
Is everyone in agreement with what Mr. Craycraft said about the railings? Would take those and preserve those like for like? Okay. I think that make sure we include that in the conditions.
Okay.
Are there any further questions?
I'll make a motion to approve application CA-24-038 as stated.
I'll second.
Roll call, Roger White.
Yes.
Dr. Scott Kelly.
Yes.
Whit Wardell.
Yes.
Linda Bovee.
Yes.
Rich Stobda, yes. David Kirka.
Yes.
P. Lynch.
Yes. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, folks. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Good luck.
I mean,
I mean, I said that positive. I said that positive, being positive.
I appreciate that. It's a big job. We're talking about jacking up the front of the
Yeah,
house.
that's a lot.
It's a 3-story house. I'm concerned. So fortunately, the contractor comes highly recommended through friends that have used him before. So I'm trusting he knows what he's doing. Kind of go from there. He handles the concrete, I'll handle the wood. See what we can do. Thank you.
Good.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Next application on tonight's agenda is CA24-040. Address is 1 South High Street. The request this evening is for storefront paint on the front facade, the front storefront facade. Up on the screen, kind of zoomed out view of Cornersmiths there. The applicant is requesting to paint the windows, door, and there's a wooden band that's kind of underneath this awning. This Benjamin Moore satin black. Kind of a different view here to show the area that's being proposed to be painted. If there's any questions for me, we've got to help answer. Applicant's here to answer questions you have for her.
Hello.
Hi.
What's the plans for the part up underneath the awning in this picture? Is that just going to stay
Well,
like the
there's,
top?
the band is going to be painted because it's wood, so everything wood painted black,
Okay.
kind of to match a little bit with the bank renovation and sticks and stones. But the other you see above the wood, that's the stucco, which of course we won't touch.
Just want to leave that alone, okay?
So you're seeing both wood and stucco there.
Okay.
And we're also having the electric cleaned up under there as well.
What, is the door going to,
Be black?
is it going to be black also?
Yes, both inside and out, because with weather permitting, we always have it open.
That makes sense.
Any further questions?
Wait, Andrew, could I just see the elevation back from, okay. So the wood band doesn't go to the corner,
It wraps the corner.
it wraps.
Yeah.
So the whole band's going to be painted black?
I don't have an opinion on it, I'll take your lead on it. Andrew, he and I talked about it a while, but I don't think we walked away with an opinion about it, did we, Andrew?
No, I think we kind of talked about either stopping the color right at the bend or continuing it just because it's the same piece of trim all the way across, but we kind of left that up to.
I'm just not sure how that would look if you continued on the
Continued,
other
right.
side,
What
the
is-
outside of the awning.
What does the left side? Yeah, what does the left side look like, the Waterloo side?
The Waterloo side is essentially, see,
Okay,
there's
it
just
does.
a little tiny piece, that, I mean, I say tiny, but as wide as that brick, it's probably 8 inches, you think, 8 or 10 inches. I think that's gonna have to be black. I don't know. We'll do what you think is best.
At first, I was just thinking just what's under the awning.
Yeah, I think it's going to kind of, it's going to stick out a little weird if it comes all the way out.
Okay, so what if we do everything black that we're talking about, and then the 2 external pieces, while we're at it, having the painter there, we'll match those to what they were and just repaint those the same color that they are.
Sounds good.
Because on the Waterloo side, if you look carefully, that wood is rotted. So I've got that scheduled to be replaced with new wood, so it's gonna have to have paint anyway. But we can have it painted that cream that's up there.
Sounds good.
I mean, I think it would just look better, just keeping it under the
Inside.
awning.
Yep.
I agree.
I'll make a motion to approve application CA-24-040 as stated. Well, we'll just paint the wood trim that's under the awning, within the awning.
Within the awning.
I'll second that.
Roll call, David Kirkhoff.
Yes.
Pete Lynch.
Yes.
Roger White.
Yes.
Rich Dobda, yes. Dr. Scott Kelly.
Yes.
Whit Wardell.
Yes.
Linda Bobby.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next application, CA 24041, address is 36 Clinton Street. The request this evening is for a paver patio located behind the home. This is a new home that was constructed in 2023. A couple months ago, the applicant came before you guys for approval for the fence that was constructed around the rear yard. Within the fenced area, the applicant constructed a 30 by 14 paver patio on top of a concrete base. Here's a finished photograph on the right. The applicant did that work out of an Oberfield Newport paver system. The information from the manufacturer is in the lower left, and then the approximate location of that patio is in the upper left corner. Any questions for me? Glad to help answer. Applicant's here to answer any questions you have.
So we're here just to critique the patio?
That's the
We had,
first application,
We
correct?
had the Moore Brothers do that because they had really good reviews. And then when this happened afterwards, we asked him, it's like, you didn't put in for a permit? And he told us, well, you don't need one in Canal. It's like, okay. So, apparently we did.
Andrew, that was necessary here because it's new construction?
Correct, the patio, yes.
And it was the property beside this that we approved the other backyard plan for? And
Correct,
it was not-
yes.
It wasn't this one.
Yeah, directly south of this property has the other rear yard improvements they're doing.
Were these loose laid pavers, or did you grout them in?
I think he's got a grout in between, it has like a glue in it.
Okay.
I didn't actually watch him do it.
Might be like a poly sand or
Yeah, I think that's what it's called.
sets up.
Right.
I don't have any issues with this patio. Looks
No.
like it was put together pretty well.
It looks nice.
More brothers do a good job.
They had really good reviews.
Any further questions? I'd like to make a motion, we approve application CA-24-041 as presented.
I'll second.
Is that Whit?
Yep.
Linda Bobby.
Yes.
Dr. Scott Kelly.
Yes.
Whit Wardell.
Yes.
Roger White.
Yes.
Rich Dobda, yes. Pete Lynch.
Yes.
David Kirkhoff.
Yes.
Thank you.
He's got next one. Looks like he's the next one too.
Next application, CA 24042, address again 36 Clinton Street. The request is for a garden shed that's within the fenced-in rear yard. Again, the applicant installed the garden shed here approximately the same time as doing the patio work. The shed itself is noted to be a 12-foot by 7-foot garden shed. It's noted to be 8 foot tall in the front corner and then tapers back to 6 foot tall in the back. Applicant notes that it's made of a wood material. I went ahead and tried to kind of colorize their plot plan here just to show you kind of the approximate location of everything. So the yellow line is the fence that was approved previously. What was just approved, the white lined area is the patio, and then the shed in the back kind of left corner of this plot plan. More photographs are provided in your paper packets for all angles of the shed for review. Again, any questions for me, I'd be glad to help answer.
Does
We
the
painted that
shed,
to match the house too.
does the shed have a permanent foundation?
Not really, it's on concrete pylons on 4x4s, and then just a few screws into that. You could take it off if you had to.
Okay.
So the inside floor is concrete?
No.
Okay.
It
So it's on a,
fits
sits on a
board.
skid?
It sits on 4x4s. That was
Okay,
the
yeah.
manufacturer recommended
Okay.
foundation for it.
But the rest of the building is wood or
Yes.
composite?
Yes.
Okay.
It's got the wood, but there's like a texture to the outside of it to make it look nicer.
It's just a textured plywood.
Yeah.
Andrew, would that be considered a non-permanent structure, the way that it's set in there?
So from our, the residential building code for the state is any shed under 200 square feet just needs to meet setbacks in the city of Canal, Winchester. It doesn't have to be permanently anchored to the ground. So for our perspective, it's still an accessory structure. We just don't have the distinguishing factors between temporary and permanent.
So it meets setbacks and all that?
Yeah, the plot plan provided by the applicant shows that their fence is inset from the property line several feet, and that the shed itself does meet setbacks based off of what's on the screen.
You said it's been painted the same color as the house?
Yes, the trim and the main color, and then the trim is the other color from the house. They left a lot of paint in the basement.
And the roof is asphalt shingles?
Yes. I think, black, I believe.
I'd have to say, it probably looks a lot like a lot of sheds around here. I'm kind of
Well, it's not plastic.
Right.
It's not vinyl.
Yeah.
You could dress it up with some battens. They have battens on their house garage.
Is there any pictures of that, Andrew? I think I
Here's the
saw
house.
one from the side.
On their house garage, there's the battens.
The garage side has batten work on it.
Yeah, I would dress it up a little bit. But it's inside his fence, so.
You can see that from the Groveport Road side.
Oh, okay.
I think so. I saw a photograph.
Yeah, this photo is when the fence
When the
panel
fence was there.
was removed.
So you can't see much.
Yeah. It'd look good with some, yeah, with some battens.
This is the same fence that was supposed to have wood slats put over the metal?
Yeah, I've got the spacers in on most of the boards. I haven't started on the posts and everything.
I don't have any problems with this shed. I think this is the third time that you've been back here, I think, for things that did not get approved.
Yeah.
I would just recommend that next time,
When
give that some
when we
thought.
bought the house, we didn't know anything about being in a district like that. They didn't mention anything to us. So we kind of got a little surprised with it.
It's crazy too, because the builder came before us, so he knew.
I know they knew. They just didn't tell us.
Right.
Sounds like some realtors around here, too. I think we don't have any more questions. Anybody like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve application CA-24-042 as presented.
I'll second. Roll call, please.
Pete Lynch,
Yes.
David Kirkhoff,
Yes.
Rich Dowdy, yes. Roger White,
Yes.
Dr. Scott Kelly,
Yes.
Whit Wardell.
Yes.
Linda Bowen.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank
All right,
you.
Thank you.
The next application, CA24-043, address is 44 North Trine Street. The request this evening is to reopen the enclosed front porch. Brief history here, this home was constructed in 1893. I included the historic inventory sheet. I'm sorry.
1878, as far as, that's what we were told.
78,
Yeah.
okay.
I don't know if that makes any difference, but.
Yeah, if you have, and so if you have any information that shows, like it was older, then please let me know. We can actually send that information to the state so they can update their records.
Oh, okay.
So this is from what was inventoried back in 1979 when the historic districts were created.
Okay.
So we always welcome that sort of information to help provide more accuracy to the
Okay.
state. Lost my train of thought. This applicant is requesting approval to remove the windows and walls enclosing the front porch. The areas that are Xed out were provided by the applicant to show the areas for removal. When looking at the removal of these features on the front, the applicant wants to open up the front porch that's behind it. This photograph here shows one centered window, 2 doors, and the doors have the transoms above. Applicant is here to answer any questions you guys have about this project.
Hi.
Hi.
Can you tell us a little bit about the condition of the porch ceiling and the porch floor?
Both in good condition, yeah. So the porch floor is a poured concrete slab, and I think it's got one little crack in it, and that's it. The porch ceiling is just slats, like slatted wood, and it's in great condition.
Okay.
The clapboards are wood, so those are the original clapboards under there. So we would probably sand them and put new paint on them, as they haven't been exposed to the outside properly for a long time. But it will be white.
Are you keeping all the same pillars?
Yeah, so the pillars,
four?
yeah, so I don't know who constructed this, they were a Savage. It's like vinyl and then like a little bit of like plywood, and so we'll just basically pull out those inserts and the pillars are original, yeah.
Can you tell if they actually cut into the moldings on the pillars to do that, or did they cut around it?
I think they kind of cut around it, like
Okay.
yeah, it's shaped into the pillars. So I think that's what the original pillars looked like. So we'll be repainting those as well.
So if we get into there and that molding has been removed, is the plan to
Yeah, I
recreate
think we'll
it like for
recreate
like?
it.
Okay.
I think it'll look nice.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Do you have any photos of it without that fence or blocked in?
Without that, I think
Yeah.
that, I'm gonna guess that went on in like the 50s or the 60s when
Well,
tastes
it was
were,
that way in 87.
yeah.
It's 37 years ago,
Okay.
so.
Yeah, when I was out taking photographs, I've never paid attention, but this is probably one of the deepest porches on that section of Trine Street as well. It's quite large compared to the rest of them on the street.
Is there an unpainted piece of wood underneath the,
There is, we got new gutters, like gutters, so white gutters with stuff to catch the pine needles, and they had to replace a piece of siding, and they didn't tell us they were replacing it until they'd already put the gutter back on, and so we need to go and paint it white underneath, yeah.
so it was rotted, I'm
It
assuming?
was
that-
rotted, yeah,
okay.
the front portion was rotted, so they had to
Well, at least they
replace it.
didn't put it over rotted
Yeah,
wood.
this is true, good point.
Your existing house, the 2 pillars that beside the door have lights on them.
They do, so there's a, like
And
a,
then
there's a
on the-
line,
Yeah, on the one picture that we have showing the inside of the porch, it has a light fixture. Are you going to retain that light fixture, or are you going to change it out?
I think we'll probably keep it, yeah, we're planning to do all of the work ourselves, so we're not electricians, we plan on leaving all of the lights, yeah.
And you do have 2 exterior doors on the front of that house.
Mhm.
So are they both going to be operational then?
The one on the right, I mean, it opens, but we never use it, so we only use the one on the left,
Okay.
yeah.
I wonder if that was ever a double. You know what, I think I've been in your house.
Really?
Unless, how long have you lived here?
4 years? Yeah. Actually, no, you came into our house because we were thinking about eventually one day when we win the
grand
lottery,
plan.
doing an addition, yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
okay.
So I think you have been in our house, yeah.
Roger, it's a good point that you brought up with the lights. I kind of had overlooked that, but it would make sense to have the lights on the exterior posts in this, this situation, but taking it back, that's pretty atypical to have lights on the outside. Would you be opposed to removing those two and just
No, I mean,
maybe
yeah, we
upgrading
just
the
need to.
one next to the door?
Yeah, I think actually they're really ugly now that I'm really looking at them. I try not to look at our porch because it just makes me sad, so, yeah, we're happy to take them off.
I say this as, I'm sorry, go ahead.
That's okay.
I say this as I just, with my wife, just went through German Village's system like this, and we got denied for our lighting, which I thought was kind of funny. For the same reason, they wanted to stick lights on the outside,
Oh,
similar
really?
to this, and they kind of gave us the whole history of how that never would have happened, so it's kind of funny that we're in this situation. So I'm glad you're in agreement that those need to go.
You're saying that the lights on the post need to go?
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
Keep the
Okay.
one on the inside.
I got you.
But
Yeah.
has to be there. On this 2016 picture that we were given, there's a little fence that runs along the front. Is that still there?
No, I'm afraid I knocked that down myself before I knew that I was supposed to get permission. Yeah.
Okay.
I took it out.
It's
It was
gone.
really ugly.
So that railing and all that's gone at this point?
Yeah.
Also?
I guess I see the other
Okay.
picture now where it is missing, so.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Any further questions? I'd like to make a motion that we approve application CA-24-043 with the only condition that the two lights on the outer porch pillars be removed.
I'll second.
Roll call, Linda Bovee,
Yes.
Dr. Scott Kelly,
Yes.
Roger White,
Yes.
Whit Wardell,
Yes.
David Craycraft,
Yes.
Rich Dobley, yes, Pete Lynch.
Yes. Good luck.
Thank
It'll look
you.
great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm excited to see that.
Next application, CA 24044. The address is 111 West Columbus Street. The request this evening is for new roof, gutters, and siding on the subject property. This home was constructed on 1920. I couldn't find any record of it coming before the Landmarks Commission prior for review. The applicant has their kind of statement here on the left. I'll leave that up for a second as I kind of talk about their project to renovate the exterior of the home. The applicant is currently doing new asphalt shingles like for like, but I thought it was important to mention just in the overall context of this project. With that roof project, they're planning on removing the box gutters that are on the second story, installing new traditional K-style gutters. The existing home has aluminum siding. The applicant's planning on removing that to install a new 6-inch cement board siding in a custom green color. The windows, the applicant notes, will be retrimmed in a white cement board siding, and there will be other accent band siding on the sides, top and bottom of the home, and white to match. On the side of the home, there's an existing aluminum awning the applicant is proposing to remove. The applicant also notes they plan on removing the shutters on the front of the home as part of this project. In the future, the applicant does note that they are exploring the process of doing a full front porch on the home. They are going through that exercise now with the contractor to figure out those details. But I'm working with her on making sure the sizing of it is appropriate for the area. One of the criteria for this home, just because it's uniquely positioned, it's the only home on that section of a block, because the school takes up the rest of the block, is that her setback on the front of the home is the average of her house only. So adding a front porch onto that will require an administrative variance process to have it be closer to the road than the one and only structure on the street. So part of that exercise is making sure that the design for the porch is roughly the same average as the rest of them within that kind of 9-10 house area. So just some side notes on items that may come before you guys in the future. Again, the applicant's looking to do a new dimensional asphalt shingle color to match what's existing currently. The new hardy board siding, the green color that she's using is in the lower left corner. I think she has a physical sample as well if you guys want to see it, but that's going to be in a 6-inch profile with the grain side exposed. So any questions, I'd be glad to help answer.
Thank you.
Michelle here is great. She'll be able to answer any questions you guys have for her as well.
I was gonna say.
You mentioned the shutters were coming off and they're going back on?
So our plan right now is to take the shutters off. They are what we believe original wood shutters. We only have window shutters for the front of the house. And I've looked into getting them dipped and stripped, but because of the likelihood of lead paint on them, I was informed that soda blasting was probably the best way to strip them. I don't have a plan in place for that right now. I don't know if their condition would be worth that investment to do.
Okay. I'm just looking at the picture window with shutters on it. I mean, a picture window wouldn't typically have
No,
shutters on it, right?
it would not. Most houses didn't have shutters. Period, back in the day, so
Mm-hmm.
maybe around 1925. But yeah, definitely on that bottom window, considering there's none on the rest of the house.
Are your flower boxes going back on?
I would love for them to be able to. It's gonna depend on if we do follow through on adding the porch to the front, where the top of the porch is going to meet. Do you like flower boxes?
I do, but there you
Oh,
go.
okay.
Speaking of the roof line there, so the current plan is to leave that brow on the front. With your renovations, you're gonna leave that?
In the attic?
No, going across above your front door and in the front
Okay,
window.
so as of right now, yes, because we have not gotten together all of our bids and our drawings for the porch proposal. If we are able to do the porch and we get everything approved, it would come off because it's only maybe that deep. It's not the depth of a
Yeah, I was
porch
just
overhang.
curious if the plan would be to keep your roof line in the same location there at the top. Looks like it's gonna have to probably be about there. You
Yeah,
just
I think
end
it's
up with
what Michelle was talking about, was possibly raising that to get the pitch right for the slope of the roof.
I mean, bring it up closer to the underside of those flower boxes.
Correct.
I mean, it's definitely a 3 or a 4, 12. It's got plenty. I'm just thinking you can probably have room for your whole proposed porch within that and keeping it that level.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just thinking when you go to do all this construction, you don't want to tear out any more than you have to when you come put a porch on it next year.
I've reached out to the Bittlers to see if they had any photos of our home with a porch on it, and they did not. They couldn't find any, and I haven't seen any historical photos that have it when it had a porch. There's lots of, we're kind of like the side of our house is in a lot of the historical photos that I've seen that are of the school or of the church, but it's never the front of it. It's like, it doesn't be the east side of the house. But we've always wanted to know.
You know what, going back to the shutters, are we gonna say just keep them as is, or just take them off, or?
I would be happy with them being off. I don't think they're the right size for that, you know.
Are you in love with the shutters, Michelle?
I'm not in love with them. I do love the look of a historic wood shutter, but I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make my historic wood shutters look beautiful again.
Just don't throw them away if they're not.
But you
put
guys
back
know,
in
like,
the
all
house.
this was because a tree hit
Right.
our house.
Michelle is just catty corner from me, so I heard the tree go.
A very large maple that crashed into the house.
Oh, my.
Right there.
And it hit the corner of the house too, that northwest corner.
When was that?
That was the storm, I think it was July 15th, on that Monday, when the just freak storm blew through and took the tree.
Have you had estimates yet on what it's going to take to remove your box gutters and how that's all going to be put back together? It's usually
So-
pretty extensive.
That work has actually already been done in order for us, because we got the approval to do the roof. In order for us to do the roof, our insurance was paying for the roof and gutters and siding. Because the box gutters are part of the roof line, in order to do the roof, they had to fix the soffit before, so they've been, the box gutters have been removed and the soffit build out has happened so that they could start the roof. They
We
started-
don't have any photos of that,
Of,
of what it looks like now?
I think it's
Oh, they
happening
just
as
did.
of
It's happening
today.
right now.
yeah. I mean, I have a photo on my phone if you want to see it. It looks really nice, the work that they did.
I'd like to see it, if you don't mind.
And they've actually re-sheathed the entire roof.
Have you had how long have you owned the house?
Since 2010,
Have you had problems with the box gutters?
yes. Have you known anybody that has had box gutters and not had gutters?
I do not. Just keeping up with the consistency.
He's looking for the first.
Right.
I drove around town to see if anybody still had box gutters in town, and I could only find one other building that had them. So you can see. They maintain the same, pitch and roof line.
Dave, have you seen this? Maybe before you.
I see it every day.
It looks nice.
Do you mind if I pass that down?
Sure.
Just hold it up.
It's just white and clean.
Thank you.
Are you finished with this?
Yeah.
Once again, if you do take the shutters down, please save those.
Yes. So we had a few, we have like door length shutters that were stored in our garage that we found. I'm not sure where those were originally placed.
Or if you choose to put the correct shutters up there, Pete probably has somebody that could get those for you, the correct ones.
I do, we just did some up in German Village again, and they're a composite shutter, but you just can't tell. They're really high quality, and they're actually a little more than half the price of actual wood shutters. I was shocked at the price. They're still expensive, but you never have to replace it. It'll be a one-time deal. I do like the shutters there, but I'm with Dave. I don't think they're appropriate on the bottom window, so we're looking at only 2 windows on the whole house that have shutters.
So
I think
we'll
if we
say
were going to
we-
say to keep them, maybe they should be restored. Otherwise, it doesn't bother me that they go.
So are you suggesting then, if they're not appropriate for the first level, that if we were to keep the shutters, that they would only be on the 3 windows on the second level front?
Correct.
Okay.
So you could use those bottom 2
You just move them up.
and move them up. Looks like they're about the right size.
Okay.
Does that have a pattern? Is there a round detail in those? I can't really tell.
On the shutters?
Yes.
No,
Okay.
no, they're just louvered
All right.
wood shutters.
Well, my suggestion would be to do it without the shutters and keep the shutters and step back and take a good hard look at it and see what you
Sure.
think.
I know not all 4 squares have shutters on them, so.
So we're just gonna leave it up to Michelle to decide if she either wants or wants to remove them?
I think if they're going to go back up, they need to be the originals, not something vinyl or store-bought,
Okay.
after the fact.
Original or a wood replica or the one that you said?
If you're not going to
composite
put the original ones up, then we'd like for you to come back.
Okay.
And I could give you some recommendations for those. Just asking on the windows, all the windows are aluminum wrapped, it looks like now.
They are right now, yes.
Is there any trim detail that you have for around the windows, or is it just going to be picture framed on all 4 sides?
So the plan in the application is to have the hardy trim in the white rough sawn finish, trimmed out around all the windows. I was talking to my contractor today because Johnny across the street has a nice cap on the top of his windows that I think is very attractive. It's just like a molding piece at the top. I don't know if that's in the budget for us to do that, how much extra it would be. I didn't include that in this application. But otherwise it would be, I think it's the 5.5-inch profile to wrap with the hardy.
I think Johnny's got just a piece of molding on top of that,
Yeah.
on the head.
Just to
It
give it
looks
some
really
dimension.
nice.
Pardon?
Just to give it a shadow line.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess that typically the historic houses will have some sort of a sill. They don't always have an apron under the sill, but the sill usually protrudes more than the rest, which gives it a little bit of depth. If you can pull that off, I think that would look nice. It's usually got to be a little thicker material so that it bumps out. When they put vinyl and wrap the windows, they chop everything off flush, so whatever window sills you did have got chopped off when they ran the new ones. Unless they wrapped them around. I can't really tell from this distance. It's possible that they wrapped and it almost looks like they're sticking out a little bit. We don't have any closer pictures than these, Andrew?
No, I do not.
Okay.
I have the roof sample, if you're interested in seeing it, it's the same as the one that was in the picture.
Move around.
It does look like it's wrapped.
And I actually held up the old shingles that they tore off against the new one, and they're extremely similar.
Doesn't it look like it's sticking out?
Yeah.
It looks like the sills are protruding out. I'd like to keep those if you can, or at least
Okay.
have them replicate that depth so that it's not just all flat. Okay.
You're talking about, Pete, like this window specifically, it looks like there's a little bit of a shadow on it?
It does, on the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rich just zoomed in here. It does look like they stick out, an inch or so past, which is what you want.
Have you noticed that at all, Michelle? Like the lower trim of your windows, it's a little deeper than the rest?
I know in the front window that it is. I believe the other ones are as well. I'm trying to think, because I'm usually looking at them from the inside.
I think what they're asking is when you're doing the new siding, if they take that aluminum off and there's wood that's there that sticks out, either replicate it or keep it.
Yes.
So this is a crude drawing, but if you're just looking at the side profile, just so it's sticking out, usually sticks out an inch or more. Gives you a little bit of shadow there.
Or if you put window boxes under all your windows,
That's great already.
or flower boxes.
It was a great idea until I had to buy the flowers every year and then water.
Gosh, there's a bunch in there.
So we're gonna say, we're gonna take the shutters off of the picture window. Leave the shutters on the second floor, but add shutters on the middle window. Is that what we were talking about?
Yes.
Can I
Use-
simultaneously get an approval to either not have the shutters or put the original shutters back on, but only on the second floor front, 3 windows?
We can
Does it
either
look like
or,
that?
like an
Yeah, we can
either
do
or
that.
scenario.
Does anyone have any questions about the rest of the project there?
All the materials are perfect.
Box gutters on that lower roof too in the back, right? Those came off.
Yes. Those are probably in the worst shape.
I'll make a motion if nobody has any questions. I'd like to make a motion to approve application CA-24-044 with the conditions that the sills on the exterior windows protrude past the casing in depth, like the original, and that the shutters on the front of the house can be removed. If they go back up, we want to use the existing shutters, and the lower 2 shutters can be used for the center window up top. Sound good?
I'll second that motion.
Roll call, Pete Lynch,
Yes.
David Kirkcraft.
Yes.
Rich Dobby, yes. Roger White,
Yes.
Dr. Scott Kelly.
Yes.
Whit Wardell.
Yes.
Linda Bovee.
Yes.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank
Can
you.
Can I ask for one clarification regarding the sills? If we have a window that currently doesn't have one, does it need to be built out if the other ones do?
I think it should. Yeah. It looks like most of them do, just from looking at it.
Yeah, I went around the house and looked
It's
at
a
Well, even the
simple-
2 windows upstairs on the back of the house even look like they protrude out.
Yeah, you do.
Thank
Right.
you. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I was very nervous about this, so thank you for being kind.
We're typically kind to most people.
Does that paint color have a name?
Tree-lined street,
Tree Line Street, thank you.
yes.
You couldn't
Tree-lined
write-
is one word.
You couldn't recognize that, Andrew? Doesn't that look like Tree Line Street?
Green.
Is that a new color? Is that the James Hardy color?
It's a custom color.
It's custom color.
Because all the stock colors are
Mhm.
a little dusty.
Right. I like that. I don't think I've seen it on yet, but it's a fun color.
I mean, I like the other colors, but they're the ones everybody else has. And the only one that we liked in stock color was the dark blue, and I think someone else can have the blue house. And so
Yeah.
trying to have something. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. The last application, Patrick, thank you for being patient, CA 24-045. This address is 131 West Waterloo Street. New homeowner here is requesting to install a 6-foot privacy fence around the rear yard. Photograph here of the front of the home. This home was recently sold to the applicant. Previous owner painted this, if those that remember, was a rusty kind of red color. Painted this bright blue. The applicant's requesting to install a 6-foot dog ear privacy fence around the rear yard. A location of the fence is shown in red.
Is the plan to just keep it pressure treated?
Yes.
No paint?
We weren't planning on it, and if we did, I was just gonna come in today and ask, like, the only thing we would paint it is white, but we were planning on just leaving it as it is.
Okay.
And you're going to have the good side out?
Yes.
And were there going to be gates?
Yes, there's gonna be one gate in the back where you can kind of see where the line to the garage part is up forward a little more. One of the gates will be there, and then one will be directly across from it at the front of the house.
Is there anything there now?
No,
Just no fence at all? So this will be a brand new fence?
yes.
Andrew, it looks like it meets all the setback requirements. Are there any issues there?
No, there's no issues from the location.
Is it right up against the neighbor's
Yeah,
garage?
that's tight.
It won't be right up against the neighbor. I drew that with my finger on my phone, so it looks a little closer than it is, but it won't be right next to the neighbor's garage like that.
close?
There will be about a foot of space in between, so.
Is their garage right on your property line?
It appears that way. That's what I was actually gonna ask coming in here today, because that was the photo I was sent, and it looks like the garage is on our property line, but I wasn't too sure if that was an updated
Did you
property
get a
line.
mortgage survey when you closed on the?
I did not.
Okay, so the garage could either be, so this aerial photography is within a 5-foot tolerance. So it could either be 5 foot this way, 5 foot this way, or this way. So I would check with your neighbor to see if they have any ideas. Typically, like the trees in the backyard, sometimes they're planted, right along property lines. Their driveway could be on the front, so just try to find some markings if you can't locate a pin. But the pins should be along the front because we redid that road 10, 15 years ago. And so right-of-way was actually acquired to do that, so you should be able to find at least the front 2 pins to help you figure out where that's at.
Thank you.
I was going to say, if the fence is like a foot off the garage,
That's
if
a
the other
problem.
guy wanted to paint his garage, How's he gonna do it?
Well, it's not, yeah, that's one thing, but also it's just really difficult to maintain. So sometimes you can stick yourself into a situation where it just gets overgrown and you can't get in there to trim it or fix it. I would recommend keeping it a couple feet off if you
Okay.
can, or
Yeah.
at least 18 inches.
You mean just
can
notch
do-
it out, not the whole fence?
Yeah, the whole fence would, but I mean, I wouldn't mind if it had to have a jog, but I would keep that space at least a foot and a half, so if
Foot and a half.
so a body can get in there to keep it cleaned out and maintenance it.
Measure your lawnmower.
And even then, I mean, even to get in there to nail your fence boards on, that's pretty tight.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd say 18 inches. I'm gonna
Okay.
say that.
And it might be once you find a surveying fence.
Right.
Yeah.
Could
They
be.
Once you
Make a
find a fence. it
Yeah, I
might be
think
more.
just the idea of keeping a
Recommendation.
space to clean, and that way you're not forcing your neighbor to gravel the whole area between the fence and the garage or
You
something.
think 18 inches is enough?
Probably should be 24.
I was just, how about just 20?
It's just barely enough to get in there and
We
work,
could
but
do
that's
the
tight.
2 feet just to make
Okay.
sure we can get like a lawnmower in between there and
Okay.
keep the yard work.
Yeah, definitely try to find the pins first, because that may clear up the whole thing.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve application CA-24-045 with the condition that the fence is a minimum of 24 inches away from the neighbor's garage, but only in that garage area, not the whole.
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
Also, just clarify that the good side of the fence goes out,
Yes.
to make sure we do that. I'll second that.
Roll call, Whit Wardell,
Yes.
Linda Bobby,
Yes.
Roger White,
Yes.
Dr. Scott Kelly,
Yes.
Dave Goodcraft,
Yes.
Rich Dodd, yes, Pete Lynch.
Yes.
Who seconded
Thank
that?
Thank you.
I did.
Thank you. Thank you, Patrick.
Thank you.
It's a long time to wait.
For old new business, I believe the Winchester Farm Exchange had their grand opening on Saturday. So the Chase Bank remodel project finally has a tenant in the space, so that's exciting. I have not been in the space yet myself, but I heard their grand opening event was wrapping around the block on Saturday, so that's great news. Yeah, I know that remodel of that building really kind of prompted Corner Smiths to do something different with their space. I think everybody's kind of see the traction on somebody doing work to take advantage of other work. Speaking of traction, we are, I guess, reintroducing our facade grant program for the city's bed tax dollars to help fund some improvements to commercial buildings within the Old Town area. So Lucas sent out letters to all property owners that are deemed commercial space that could apply for that. But if you know somebody that has a building that needs some love in the commercial downtown, or want to encourage, somebody to do a project or help somebody out figuring out if they can do something, feel free to kind of get involved behind the scenes on that end. We already had one submittal to do something. For those that don't recall how that process works, basically they have to apply for the facade grant project to the CWIC committee. They will score and recommend what projects receive funding, and then the applicants have a timeline to go before the Landmarks Commission approval process to get that work approved, and then have another timeline after that to complete the work, and they have to maintain the work that got funded for a minimum of 5 years, or else they have to repay back the money that they were given as part of the grant. In the past, we've been able to do projects like the awnings over Hartman's to do some of the work that was done to, I think, Fitness Firm in the past for windows. I think signage before has been approved as part of overall projects. Basically, if you're bringing back a historic element to the building or improving the exterior look of what's currently there, the only thing the program doesn't cover is sole maintenance cost. So if you're, looking to fix something that's rotten because you haven't done it, it doesn't 100% cover that, so.
So Andrew, it's a matching,
It's a matching grant.
up to 2,500, wasn't it?
I believe so, up to,
I think they have, what, $15,000 to spend?
I can't remember.
I can't remember it either.
This time around, I don't think the cap is so low though. I think the 2,500 got bumped to 5,000.
I'll have to look at my papers.
Yeah, I know it just got sent out, but I know the language has changed a little bit because we knew with inflation, project costs have gone up. But again, if you want to encourage somebody downtown or have a building you want to see get some changes, then
And Andrew, is this strictly facade?
there is some provisions in there for increasing usability of space. I think Lucas added some information about, like, if you're increasing the usability or like some ADA access is also granted into that. Like if you have old knob and tube wiring, you want to increase, change the electric panel to make the space leasable, for different types of tenants. Some of that stuff's been added. Not sure on who all would apply for that sort of thing, but the paperwork that Lucas has much more information than kind of the applicability for that type of work.
Is it limited to just the front facade, or is it just what's seen from the street?
I think it will depend on how it scores.
Well, Pete, if he's doing ADA accessibility,
Probably has
could
to
be
go to the rear.
anywhere on the building, I
Right.
would think.
Yeah, it's all, there's a scoring system for all of it, so, obviously the more impactful, the project is to the historic nature of the building, then the higher it will score by the committee, but, like you said, definitely take a look at the paperwork, or if you're a property owner, if you want to encourage somebody to do something with their building that's a little neglected, then please let me know.
Does the front elevation of the corner Smith building still have that crack?
No, they got that crack fixed right after Memorial Day.
Okay.
And what's the situation where they had the flower, I don't want to call it, the brick that got hit by the car?
They have completely removed it.
They're not going to replace it?
No, they actually have completely removed it from the front of the building. I don't think I have anything else for New World business.
Well, you said there is a house being built on the remaining 2 lots on Clinton Alley.
Someone purchased the last 2 lots on Clinton. I'm working with them on getting a full submittal for you all. It may happen either September or October, depending on when they get me everything.
Is it?
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting at 7:56.
Second.
Roll call, Pete Litch.
Yes.
David Krieger.
Yes.
Rich Dabney. Yes. Roger White.
Yes.
Dr. Scott Kelly.
Yes.
Bert Wardell.
Yes.
Linda Bowman.
Yes.